Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is May 14th, 2021, and this is episode 301. Sea of Sorrows is what we're looking at today. This is issue number 5 coming out from IDW. It is the final issue in this arc, and it came in at a whopping $3.99. Now we get this nice issue cover with the sea monster, mermaid, whatever you want to call her. She's a siren. She can actually sing the song that kind of hypnotizes the sailors and leads them towards their doom. And she's actually got quite a mouth cavity on her that you cannot see because it's hidden by her torso. It'll suddenly spring open at times. And she is framed by the submarine that has sunken underneath, that it contained all the gold, and that sub sank in World War One. So it's 1928. It takes place in 1928. We got a crew of ruffians and also treasure seekers that have been at each other's throat the whole time, and all heck has broken loose at the end of last issue, and it just carries forth into this issue. Let's take a quick look to see who has worked on this. The writer is Rich Douek. The artist and colorist is Alex Cormack. The letters are by Justin Birch. The editor is Bobby Curnow. And the design was Valeria Lopez. And you get a shot of the other variant covers. Now, I'm going to give this a recommend. I have been recommending it all along. I've really liked it. I think this would make a terrific movie if they moved forward with it. It is a period piece, but it is pretty horrifying throughout. The atmospheric depth that you see in the water and the darkness, the total darkness when they are underwater, it just adds to an element of terror and just not knowing what's around each corner. There's no deep sea diving in this issue, so to speak, because it is just full of mayhem and chaos on deck as the two factions on deck are going at each other. They're half crazed. You've got the siren singing her song at the same time that's just pushing them over. Just very bloody scenes. If I do have a concern with this comic, is some of the scenes were just a little too dark, so it was hard to make out exactly what I was looking at or what position people were or who they were. But other than that, it is a good excavating seal of approval winner all the way. So like I said, we're going to get a lot of shots with just total anarchy and chaos going on below deck. You see all this going on, this strange things, and you can see the siren song, but also above deck with the storm raging, just rocking this boat, almost knocking it over. Then it's just a bloodbath up there. Everybody's hitting each other, and they're just going after each other like crazy. And finally, this one point, this guy just asks him, what are you looking at? And we get the shot of the guy that was in the brig, because they'd gone crazy, but he had gotten out and had been sabotaging the boat and helping the beasts get on the boat and do more mayhem at night, and just creating a scene of just total terror. And you can see just people are just fighting. There's blood spurting all over the place, and the siren song has gone from white to red. And the one gentleman is just bathing in with glee in the whole mayhem of it all. So these two that are fighting, they do realize that's the guy that's kind of causing all these troubles, that they thought he was locked up and he's been doing all these things. And so this guy just says, you can kill me later, but let me kill that guy first. And he says, aye, aye, Captain. So we get the captain grabbing the grappling hook here, and the fight is starting to break up a little bit. And just as they approach the man up on the upper deck, the ship hits a big rumble here. And we see the sea monster come out from the water along with tentacles from a giant squid that we'll see a little bit later here. And you can see that this sea monster is opening up and it's just gobbling up the crew, eating it as quickly as she can move from one to the next. Meanwhile, down below, we've got our diver. He's looking for his bayonet that he's had since World War I. It's kind of his keepsake. It's kind of his touchstone, so to speak. It's supposed to be keeping him sane, but I'm not quite sure if it's doing that. And he's still got his diving suit on there. But he had got locked down there with all the dead corpses that guy was bringing to the beast to eat. And so he has a flashback from his World War I days where he was in the hospital, and he's finally let go. He's good, well enough after his injuries have healed, and then he finds out they're sending him right back on to the front lines. So his nightmares have continued on for more than 10 years. And then we get another shot back at the deck, the 16-panel bloodbath that's going on. I mean, just incredible. And finally, the crazy man is going to embrace the sea monster, but before he can, he is stabbed from behind from our deep sea diver. He says, "Come on then, let's be done with it." And he's ready to embrace the monster himself. But at that time, the ship gets one more bash from all the tentacles and sea monsters from below, and it pulls the ship under. So a lot of good action, and we get this kind of sequential shot of the diver falling into the water. And the next moment, he's suddenly on a makeshift raft, and everything is kind of floating up front of him. And the sea monster presents him with a gold brick. And I believe he's just laying on the raft, and he just kind of passes out by himself, only to be found by another ship the next day, battered and bruised, but with the gold bar intact. And of course, this crew sees this gold bar and they realize it's real, and they want to know how he got it. Now, I'm not going to go past that. I mean, there's a lot of speculation on what's going to happen next, but let's just take a look at some of the variant covers. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. It's kind of, to me, it was kind of a Twilight Zone type ending, kind of a surprise. But get the sea monster going here with the deep sea diver down at the bottom of one of the wrecks down there. And it's not the first time, apparently, that someone's tried to recover this gold from the submarine. And then we have this other shot where these guys are pretty clean. Everybody else is bloody on this disc, but you can see the sea monster's hand reaching up for the crazed guy. Right? One of these guys is the crazed guy. I'm not sure which one. But yeah, it was pretty good. Also in this IDW book, we got like a hardcover book, Stephen King and Owen King, Sleeping Beauties, a graphic novel, part 1, and The Last Ronin director's cut. Behind the scenes, I believe this is a trade paperback. And we get one last shot of our sea monster here in full attack mode with her exposed mouth there. So she kind of like bends in half right at the collarbone, which is really weird, but just all these rows of teeth like a shark kind of. So really good. Like I said, there's a lot of it's so dark it was hard to see. And I want to show you the one where, see, we got this here. You can kind of see the squid's eye there, but you can't really make out too much more of the squid. So I think if they would have lightened it up a little, it would have had a little bit more impact, because as disturbing as this is, it leaves a lot of the detail out. All right, so there you go. We finished up a series here, Sea of Sorrows. This does get the Indie Comics Jones Good Excavating Seal of Approval, giving out only by Indie Comics Jones. So thank you for stopping by and watching this review. I'll have more reviews this week. As always, please subscribe if you haven't, leave comments, And we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones, the one and only, bidding you adieu.